A tragic car crash in southern Kentucky claims the life of both a deputy sheriff and a firefighter.
First responders are giving their first-hand account of a daring rescue that saved 3 people who drove off a cliff in Jessamine County.
And a central Kentucky mayor is being asked to resign after being charged with soliciting a prostitute. Why he does not plan on stepping down just yet.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good afternoon. His community says he devoted his life to serving them, and now that community is mourning the loss of 39-year-old Sean Matthew Cook.
Cook was both a sheriff's deputy and a volunteer firefighter in Russell County. He was killed yesterday when his personal vehicle collided with a truck in Clinton County. Phil Pendleton is talking to Cook's co-workers. He tells us how they are remembering him in our top story at 5:30.
This was Sean Cook's home away from home. When Cook wasn't working for the sheriff's department, he was often found here at the Russell Springs Fire Department.
It's just a tragic loss. He's been a friend of mine even prior to becoming on the rescue squad or the fire. I've known him his whole life, you know, and he was just a fine person.
Cook volunteered at the fire department for 15 years.
He wasn't afraid to go in a fire, and like I say, he always helped all of us, fire department, or, you know, he'd give you the last dollar he had.
His day job was transporting prisoners and working court security for the Russell County Sheriff's Office.
We're a close department. We're more like a family, and it's like somebody has taken one of our family members away from us.
The irony is that the kind of call that he would volunteer to help was exactly the kind of situation that took his life. He was on his way back from Tennessee in his truck when he collided with a dump truck. Police say he was trying to pass another car on U.S. Highway 127.
Quite a shock when we all found out, because this group is extremely close. They're together a lot, even, you know, other than fighting fires. So they're really, really a close group of people, and it's really been a blow to them. Hit us all hard.
Because he was both a lawman and a firefighter, officials say he'll be buried with both kinds of honor. In Russell County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Now, the sheriff says that Cook leaves behind a wife and 2 children, and that an account is being established to help them through the loss.
We are tracking a developing story out of Lexington. A dog is being checked out right now after firefighters rescued him from a sinkhole this afternoon. Crews were called to a farm on Grimes Mill Road after a man said his dog fell into a hole while they were hiking, and only WKYT was there when firefighters pulled him out of the sinkhole. Coming up on WKYT News at 6, you'll hear from the dog's owner about the reunion.
It's been hard to tell lately whether it's fall or summer or what it is, but we are tracking more rounds of showers and storms moving across the region.
And that wet weather will lead to some much cooler weather for us. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at your forecast.
How about summer giving way to fall over the next couple of days? Maybe a good way to describe it. Early version of fall, that is. We look outside right now, and still a little summertime air in place. 80 to 84 degrees across most of the area. Corbin, we are cooler because we do have a couple of raindrops not too far away. But again, today's stuff, as expected, nowhere near as widespread as yesterday. Check back with us tomorrow. You want to talk about some widespread stuff. Live First Alert Defender, isolated action going back up here into parts of southern Kentucky. Southern Whitley County with an isolated shower, parts of Pulaski County through the London-Corbin area, just to the north of Manchester. But even here, it's nothing that is too terribly pronounced. We have a little bit of a void across most of the Ohio Valley as of now, but a big storm system that is cranking up. Look at the spin on this bad boy to our northwest. That means business as it rolls into the Great Lakes. That will move in here during the day tomorrow. So let's enjoy what is a mainly dry evening, just an isolated threat for a shower or thunderstorm with the muggy 70s out there. When I come back in a few minutes, guys, we'll track that strong cold front into central and eastern Kentucky and show you the increase in storms and the decrease in temperatures.
Firefighters say the victims are lucky to be alive. Tonight, 3 people are recovering after the Jeep they were in went off the road, down a cliff, and into the Kentucky River in Jessamine County. It happened near Wilmore early this morning. As Mark Barber tells us, the 3 people in the Jeep are lucky that someone else was in the right place at the right time.
When the Jeep ran off the road, firefighters say it plunged down a 75-foot cliff, landing in the Kentucky River. First responders tell me that there were 3 people in the vehicle. One of them was knocked unconscious. The Jeep went over the cliff near Lock 7 Road, south of Wilmore, around 1:30 this morning. Firefighters tell us the driver, a woman, was knocked unconscious when the vehicle hit the water. Crews say 2 men were also in the Jeep, and one of them grabbed her and swam to the riverbank. Firefighters lowered themselves down the cliff with ropes to reach the injured people, and then carried them out using a small trail beside the river. The 3 in the Jeep were rushed to UK Hospital. The woman, who was still drifting in and out of consciousness, was airlifted. Deputies tell us they do think alcohol was involved in the crash. Emergency Management Director Johnny Adams helped get the 3 people to safety this morning. Now he's preparing to look for their submerged Jeep. He says the outcome could have been much worse if someone in the area didn't spot the Jeep and call 911.
They were very fortunate that someone was here to hear their cries for help and be able to notice that they were missing. I do believe, had the conditions been different, that we would be working a different type of incident.
If blood tests show that the driver was under the influence, deputies say she will be charged when she is released from the hospital. In Jessamine County, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Emergency management officials tell us that a family member of someone in that Jeep was in the area, and they called 911 when they saw the vehicle's lights disappear over the cliff. A Madison County man has been charged tonight after police say he almost hit several cars along Interstate 75. Berea police say they were helping a stranded driver on the interstate when dispatchers told them about a reckless driver heading their way. Officers say the truck was speeding in the emergency lane right toward them and the other parked vehicles. No one was hurt, but the driver of the truck later crashed. 23-year-old Justin Quinn was taken to UK hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they found several beer cans in the truck.
A criminal case against a Kentucky mayor is moving forward. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Bullitt County. Shepherdsville Mayor Scott Ellis pled not guilty today to 1 count of solicitation of prostitution, which is a misdemeanor. The prosecution also turned over all of their evidence in the case today. The charge stems from an incident last July when detectives say Ellis asked a woman for sex in return of political favors.
I want to know what his side of the story is, but I haven't asked for it yet. I don't even know the exact identity of the alleged prostitute.
The Shepherdsville City Council has voted 4-2 to ask for Ellis's resignation. Ellis previously wrote a letter saying that he is searching for another job and said that when he finds one, he will turn in his resignation. In Lincoln County, a man is in jail tonight after deputies say he was trying to dig up a grave. Deputies arrested 44-year-old Michael May yesterday after a constable saw someone digging up a grave at Pilot Baptist Church in Stanford. Deputies say the man had been digging up the grave of a family member. May has been charged with violating graves, possession of marijuana, and public intoxication. In Nelson County, Bardstown police officers are adding a new tool to their arsenal. Today, the Delta Platoon became the first department equipped with body cameras. The department spent $14,000 to buy 30 cameras and hardware to store the video. The cameras are meant to provide transparency during investigations and interactions with the community.
A Jackson County school employee has been suspended tonight while investigators look into possible gas theft. The Jackson County School Board attorney says they've seen 4 videos from last year of this employee filling up gas cans in the trunk area of his school-owned vehicle. Right now, the employee has been suspended with pay. The school district is looking at videos from this year to see if this incident happened again. They hope to have the investigation finished sometime next week.
An Eastern Kentucky library is causing a controversy tonight. Today, the Magoffin County Library Board decided to tear down an old church building to build a new library. Board members say their first plan was to restore the old church building, but the condition of the building led them back to the drawing board, and plans to demolish the building had been put on hold for the past 90 days after a petition was started to save what some call the historic church building.
The most troubling aspect to me is the loss of that historic structure that's 86 years old.
The building itself, regardless of what you hear, I've been in that building for many, many years. Right now, it's not in a, economically feasible situation that we can save the church.
After the board voted to demolish the old church building today, they started taking bids on the work. Board members hope to break ground on the new library this coming spring.
A Central Kentucky driver has a good question that many of our viewers out there have seen on the roads perhaps and may have wondered about. Larry of Winchester is asking this good question. You see dump trucks all over with signs saying keep back, not responsible for damage. Does this have any legal standing? Larry, that's a good question. We asked an attorney for an opinion on this, and he says it depends on several things. First of all, it depends on your distance from the truck and how safe the truck is set up. So he says the warning may play a role into assessing damages in the event of an accident. The defense would be that there was notice of the potential hazard, and by driving too close to the driver, assume the risk of the potential hazard. But he says if a vehicle was following a truck at a safe distance and was hit by an object from the truck, then the sign would probably have little impact on liability. And of course, this has to be considered too if the truck was overloaded or improperly covered, then he believes the sign would have no impact. That is one attorney's opinion. If you have a good question, go to WKYT.com.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is fighting to keep his run for the White House alive and protect his Senate seat.
And Governor Beshear is calling out his critics in other states. Bill Bryant has the details in the bottom line.
Good evening. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is fighting on two fronts this week as he tries to keep his presidential prospects alive while also trying to protect his U.S. Senate seat in case the White House plans don't work out. Business Insider ran a story today suggesting that Paul's presidential campaign is collapsing. Polls and fundraising are down, and now Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump has said, quote, Senator Paul has no chance of winning the nomination, and the people of Kentucky should not allow him the privilege of remaining their senator. Meanwhile, Kentucky Republican leaders will decide this Saturday whether to have a GOP caucus in March so Paul can go around the state law that would not let him be running for two offices at once on the ballot. Paul is promising to pay for the caucus. Governor Steve Beshear pushing back against critics in another state. Beshear wrote a piece for today's Richmond Times-Dispatch over in Virginia. Beshear said opponents of Medicaid expansion in the Old Dominion should not use Kentucky to justify their case. Beshear pointed out that Kentucky's uninsured rate has fallen from more than 20% to less than 9%. He also cites financial studies that the governor says should undercut those who fear rising costs to the state in the future. Congressman Andy Barr's office is hosting a Military Academy Day for 6th District students who are interested in applying to one of the nation's service academies. That event will be on Saturday, August 29th at the Aviation Museum of Kentucky. Registration will be that morning at 8:30. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker, one of the 16 Republican presidential candidates, out with a proposal this evening that he says could replace Obamacare. It leans on tax credits to entice people to be insured, and it would give states more authority in handling Medicaid. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
The Kentucky State Fair is offering some new promotions, discounts, and a stronger concert lineup after low attendance caused them to lose money last year.
The changes include two $20 carload days and more ways to get cheaper admission, parking, and ride tickets in advance. Also new this year, the Philly cheesesteak donut burger and a healthy food tent. The fair starts Thursday and it runs until August 30th.
Some good news for athletes. The Ironman will stay in Louisville until at least 2019. Ironman and the Louisville Sports Commission announced a new agreement for the triathlon today. In the new agreement, the event will move from the traditional late August date to the second Sunday in October. That's the date for this fall coming up. Ironman Louisville is a 140.6-mile triathlon.
Now, you're